So what's going on, people? I hope everyone are doing good. Okay, let's jump into the today's video. That will be how do you use x args args argument x argument. So if you are a programmer, then you will be obviously knowing what is the meaning of arguments and x arguments. So a argument will be a single argument. If it is a x argument, then it will be a multiple arguments. So how do you use this xarg in Linux, and why this xarg used in Linux? Okay, let me explain. So while you are doing some operations like let's say you are doing ls, so it will print multiple files which is inside the current directory, right? So there is multiple files is been printed. What if you take that multiple files as an what input for xarg, then perform any other operations? Let's give an example. Let's now create a file. Okay, let's create a file called directory name dot txt. Okay, now txt. Now permission denied. Okay, I'll use sudo. Okay, now what I do, I'll do nano. I'll use sudo only. It will ask for the password. Nano directory name. Now I'll specify some directory names. Okay, which I need to create. I need to think I need to create like 10 to 11 directories, but I can't just type make directory, make directory. I can't be just typing every time the same commands. I need to do something which is like it's not the automation. I need to do some shortcuts, something like that. Let's say I need to create directory 1 and directory 2 and directory 3 and directory 4 and directory 5 and directory 6 and directory 7 and directory 8, directory 8 and directory 9 and directory 10. Let's say I need to create 10 directories. Now what I do, I'll save this file and I'll go back. What I do now, if I do cat and directories, you can see there is 10 directory names, not a directory. Now if I take this output as an input for xarg and say xarg, what you do, you make these many directories and give it to me. If I do like this, it will take all these directory names and it will create a directory. That is what the powerful of xarg. If I press enter, okay, I need to give a root permission, sorry for that. If I press enter, okay, if I do ls, no, it is asking for the root permission. Okay, let's jump into the root only, then we'll create the file. Okay, now we will create the file. What we do echo and directory name and x args and mkdir. If I press enter, then if I do ls, you can see there is 10 directories created. So that is how the powerful is xarg. It will take the multiple input and it will create the multiple directories. Okay, let's say instead of directory you need to create a file. You can also you can use touch command, that will obviously create a files. 10 files, it should create a 10 files. Okay, it should have created a 10 files. Okay, maybe only directories it is taking, I guess. So you can only use the directories, I guess, specify to create a directories. Let's remove all the directories. What we do, let's remove everything. Remove ref and the star. It will delete everything. So this is how you can use x argument. Okay, let's do one more thing. Now in the last video we can't create files. Right now we will create a file. How do you do file? What you do echo, then you specify a file name file1, which will be separated by colon. Okay, by colon I'll just create a 3 files. Okay, I don't need to create a 10 files and delete that. Now what I do, I specify a file name file1, file2, file3 which will be separated by colons. Now I use xarg, I use -d, that is called a dilemma. Then I use command. Okay, dilemma will be double colon. I'm saying the dilemma, the separation which I am giving the file names will be separated in colons. Then I'm specifying a touch that will echo. Sorry, I made a mistake. ECHO, not EHCO. Okay, if I do ls, you can see the 3 files is being created. So that is how you can use xarg to create directories, and you can create a file. Okay, let's move to the next one. Okay, let's remove everything so that we'll be comfortable to do next. Okay, there is nothing. Now what I do, I need to take some file names and I need to move to some move to some destination. Let's create let's create 3 files: file1, file2, and file3. Okay, now there is 3 files. Now I'll create a directory. Okay, so that will be directory 1. So there is one directory and there is 3 files. Now what I need to do, I need to move these 3 files to that directory. Now what you can do actually. So now what I do, I create some file. Sorry, I'll create one file which is called filename.txt. Then I'll specify the file names. Okay, file2.txt and file3.txt. I'm specifying the files which need to be moved to that directory. I specified the files which need to be moved to that particular okay, I made a mistake. I should not add this .txt extensions. Okay, I'll just remove this. Okay, now if I do ls, you can see I need to move these 3 files into this directory. How do you do this using xarg? So now what I do cat file names, sorry, underscore file names. Then I use xargs. Then I'll use -i, that is actually called interactive mode. We actually called I as interactive mode. Then what action I am doing, I need to specify in between 2 flower brackets. Then I need to specify a destination, that will be directory 1. If I press enter, these 3 files, file1, file2, file3 will be moved to directory 1. This is how we move files to directory using xarg. Okay, now we'll remove everything because we'll do everything from beginning. Okay, let's say there is multiple files. Let's say there is 100 files, but you need to limit it to only 3 or only 4, something like that. So what you do, now let me create a files, file1 and file2 and file3 and file4 and file 5. Okay, you can see that. Now what I need to do is that let's move the file only, but we'll limit it. Now we'll limit it. Let's create one directory called directory 1. Now I'll create one more file that will be nano file names.txt. In this file I'll specify file1, file2 and file3 and file4 and file 5. Okay, I'll specify those file names. Now if I do cat file names, okay, if I do cat file names and xargs, and if I specify -i and if I move this, if I mv, if I'm moving these 5 files into the directory as I showed you in the last in the last part, what I'm doing, I'm not moving all these files. I'm not moving all these files. I'm moving only the first three files, that will be file 1, file 2, file 3. What I need to do, I need to specify one more argument, that will be -n. So -n is basically used to specify the number of operations, like number of arguments per command. I am specifying that you need to take only three arguments. So this will output 5 arguments, that will be file 1, file 2, file 3, file 4, file 5. Okay, but this argument, this x argument will take only 3, that will be file 1, file 2, file 3. If I press enter, so ignoring previous max argument. Okay, let's do one thing. We don't need to move this file, we just need to do ls. We'll just output something. Okay, just specify ls, then no such directories. Okay, let me create a file only. But if I do ls, you can see the file name, not file name, let's say let's create a directory only. Okay, cannot access file exist. Okay, there is already file exist. So this is how we use what do you call xarg to specify only limit the number of output to 3. That is how we use -n. Okay, let's go for the next one. I don't need to waste your time. Okay, for next will be let's say you are doing some operations, let's say file name, and you're doing some operations, xarg and p and remove. So let's say you are doing some operation that will be removing the files which I specify in this file name. But what you do, you need to get some prompt. If you use -p, it will prompt that I am removing these files. See, remove 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 files. Are you removing these files? Yes. If you press yes, it will obviously remove these files. If I do ls, you can't see it should remove these files, I guess. I need to specify yes, I guess. Yes, then I need to specify yes. I should not press enter. If I specify yes, please remove this given file, then it will obviously remove the current file. That is how you use -p for prompting the operations what you're doing. Okay, let's go for the next one. Let's say you are listing something, but let's say there is some spaces. Let's say there is some spaces. Let's say if I do ls, if I let me create some files, that will be touch1, file 2, and file 3, and file 4, and file 5. Okay, now what I do, if I do cat file name, you can see these files has been specified in the particular file name.txt. Now let's go into the file name. Let's give some spaces in between this. Okay, let's give some spaces. Okay, now what it will do is that, now let's say you are deleting something using xargs -p, then remove. So this will prompt that I am deleting these files, and it will delete, right? But let's say there is some spaces in between this. I left spaces. So whether it will consider the spaces as a file name and it will remove it? No. So that you need to use one more argument, that is called e. If you use e, it will ignore the empty lines. If I press enter, yes. If I do yes, then if I do ls, that total it will be deleted. So it will ignore all the empty lines, then it will go for the next line. If there is any word, then it will specify that word as a file name, then it will delete it. Okay, that is how we use -e. Okay, let's go for the next one. Let's say you need to replace argument at a specific position. How do you do that? Okay, let's do one thing. Let's cat it. Then you can use arguments, then you can use interactive then you can use hyphen small I, then you can specify the destination. So this will actually replace the second occurrence of what this bracket with the input item. This is how we use this particular command. Okay, let's go for the next one. Let's say you need to do some parallel execution. How do you do that? So if you need to do run up to 4 instances or 5 instances, then you need to use hyphen capital letter P, then you need to specify how many instances, then you need to specify the command. So if you need to perform like 3 operations, let's say there is 5, let's say okay, let's create a files again, file 1, file 2, and file 3, and file 4, and file 5. Okay, now we can see there is file 1 to file 5. Now what I am doing cat, and these file names has been specified in the file name.txt. Now what I do, xargs, I specify capital letter P, then I specify small letter p. Capital letter P to take the operations, small letter p to prompt the what operations I am doing. I'll remove it. Now I need to delete only 3 files, 1, 2, 3. If I press enter, okay, I'll remove the small p. If I press enter, if I do ls, you can see only 3 operations should be that is how we actually use to parallel to do parallel execution. Yeah, this will I specified all the files, then it deleted all the files. But if I specify 3, first 3 files will be deleted, then again 3 files will be deleted. Since again you can't delete 3 files, there is only 2 files, then 2 files will be deleted. So that is how you can use hyphen capital letter P. Okay, the next argument will be using xargs and hyphen t. So this will this is used to print the verbose. So this will actually do verbose kind of thing. Verbose is nothing but to print what operations is going on. Let's say you are removing, so it will print, it's like a prompt. So basically prompt will ask for if you are doing this operation, give me access, that I'll say yes or no, something like that. But verbose will not ask for the access, it will just display what action you are doing, what process you are doing. So that is how we use verbose. The next one will be using dry run. So if you need to simulate the execution for a command without actually running it, you can actually use hyphen p and hyphen t and command. So this will actually simulate the command without actually running it. Okay, so that is how we use this particular argument. Okay, so like this is all this is all the arguments that you can use it. If you don't understand what I teach, and you can go for man page and you can search many arguments. There is like number of arguments that you can just explore it. As I showed you, T will be for verbose, and I can also check the version, I guess. XR version. Yeah, you can see the version and the people who wrote the code for this particular command. Okay, thank you for watching, and see you guys.